So Jeff Probst has done a lot to be really, really good at his role as host of Survivor. But what you don't know is, maybe, Jeff Probst was good before he was on Survivor. Jeff Probst had been a host of other shows, and that's part of why he was selected. When Jeff was on the first season and we went to Tribal Council, he was finding his footing. He was asking questions that he'd been able to ask only because of his having looked at footage. And that's interfering with the game. So Jeff had to learn. He had to adapt. I helped him with that, calling him out for, hey, what are you trying to do? Screw up my game? By blowing things, by sharing things that he could have only known from looking at the footage. Jeff learned, he grew, and he did really well and he does really well at not crossing that line now in tribal councils, where he won't use the footage, the dailies, the reviewed information that he got from all the different cameras that have been filming us as we play the game. And he only uses what's public, or I think that's what he tries to do, and I think that's what's appropriate. But we contestants learned too over time, and we learned to answer the question, I did immediately from day one, without regard to what's true, so that we didn't give ourselves away. If I hadn't been able to do that quickly, Jeff's asking questions with information that he'd only learned from the footage would have undermined my chances of winning. Well, I'll give you a quick story about Jeff. And he didn't leave Survivor, he continued to host it, but he went on to host a game show as well, not a game show, a talk show as well. And I watched the first episode and it was horrible. And I reached out to him immediately. And I really respect Jeff's abilities, the ones that I perceive he has, that I'm not sure he's even aware of why he is so good. So I reached out and I suggested that I could help him, that I understood him really well and I knew what he could do and how he could make the talk show successful, but that it wouldn't be successful if it continued as is. And he responded and said, thanks, Rich, but this is my journey and I'm good. There is something that Jeff does really, really well, and he does it on Survivor, and he could have done it in the talk show that would have been different from how talk shows are today, how they play out, what they show. And I think he could have done something really amazing in changing that genre and making it better because of his gift. And part of that has to do with how prepared he is to be in an environment, but also skilled he is at extemporaneously responding. And the talk show was so canned and so scripted, and the laughs and the comments were just so obviously prepared that it was awful, absolutely awful, and was canceled very quickly. Jeff has a reputation of being really well prepared. He has a reputation of really doing the homework, of really understanding the subject and knowing how he's going to play it when he heads in. But I think that's what he relies on. I think he relies on his being prepared, and he thinks that being prepared is the key to his success. And I think there's more to it. I think he's really, really skilled at being extemporaneous, because once he's prepared, he can go in lots of different directions and answer off the cuff really quickly. And if he'd allowed himself to do that more in the talk show, he would have done better. He didn't. And he stayed so scripted and so canned that it was just difficult to even look at. You had to turn the channel because it was just off-putting.